I've got a concrete lorry that needs sandblasting and sprayed Ashville black. I've got a cutting edge that needs changing, this time on a loading shovel. And finally, at long last, we are going to tackle the leaking problem on the water tower. I'm Daniel, and this is Ashville Weekly, episode 64.
It's starting to feel a lot like Christmas.
It's left a really bad taste in my mouth. Don't really like that stuff. Yes, we carry on. Lovely and solid, lovely and clean. It's just a bit small. There'll be no load whatsoever. Bad taste in your mouth. Hey! Plug, plug, plug. I don't have time to teach anybody to do that. We need to change the cutting edge on the front of this shovel. It's worn down to nothing. We've had to get new bolts as well, but this time the new cutting edge is a lot thicker and stronger. Once we take it off, what we need to do is scurf it down, clean it a bit underneath, because if there's any debris when we try to attach it, it'll end up working away and coming loose. So let's get on with that. Broken out the barriers and the blocks. Now we need to make a good 30 jersey barriers for us to do what we need to do, but we can only make 2 a day. Give it 24 hours to dry, then we can break it out. Also, we need a lot of these bigger blocks because now we've got a lot of smaller ones left. So we're gonna pour those today, hopefully later when the concrete lorries come back. Now, speaking of concrete, we have concrete work to do on the 28th, 29th and 30th. We have about 300 meters to pour. However, our suppliers are going to be closed. So what we're going to try and do material-wise is stockpile as much material as we can this week. But the trouble is cement. So we're speaking to our supplier to see if there's any chance of getting cement within that Christmas New Year break. If there isn't, we won't be able to pour it because we can only keep 50 tons of cement at a time. Material we can stockpile, cement. In hindsight, maybe I should have bought a bigger silo, but at the time our resources didn't allow it, and we only had one concrete lorry when I bought that silo. However, I'm not going buying another one because that one's perfect the way it is. It's just a bit small. Let's go over to the backyard. This Volvo has a little bit of a problem. We have a DPF warning on, and now we've done a forced regeneration, still didn't work. It turns out that is the DPF sensor. So the DPF sensor is going to be changed now, and we'll do another regeneration. It was reading that the soot levels were about 200%, and then it dropped down to 20% and then 200%. Hopefully it's the sensor and we can get this lorry back out on the road ASAP. In our new concreted area. Lovely and solid, lovely and clean. Won't stay that way though. Here's the plan. We're gonna use the larger size concrete blocks and we're gonna lay one row along the bottom, sat on the concrete. I know it's taking up space in our yard, but that's what we need to do because we don't want it on an uneven surface. And then we've got loads of other sizes like 5s and 3s and 2s and stuff like that. And then we're gonna use those blocks and we're just gonna use them on top because otherwise we're gonna have a bunch of odd sized blocks sitting around everywhere. Now we are not gonna go up to 6 blocks high in this area. We're probably gonna go to about 3 because it's not supported, 3 or 4, and this wall will take no impact at all because this is not for material. This is just to give us a little bit of privacy and if we want to fix something to the back of it. So I've asked the boys to bring over all the blocks that are sat in the other bays because they're in the way so we can start using those bays. We're going to pile them all up here. And then once we pile them up and we put the bottom row of the largest format, then we're gonna work out what we're gonna do with the next level. In the new training room, we have the guys working together. One man with a paintbrush, painting the hard to get areas, and somebody else with a roller. So by the end of today, that should be white. downstairs in the merch container, we're putting the floor down. Now we're having to think about how we're going to do the floor. Are we going to do an upstand? What we're going to do? And then we realized with all the storage units we're going to put in there, if we put like a 18mm skirt in, like an MDF or something, we're not going to be able to get the storage units flush against the wall. So what we're doing is we're just cutting some of the flow needs to get past. Let flow past. We are just cutting some strips of the flooring, and the strips of the flooring that we cut, we're going to put them around the outside, and where these strips and the floor meet, we're going to silicone that area. That means that all the shelving units can still go flush against the wall, and then we can put some sort of bracket on it to hold it against the wall when we stack it with merch. If you saw last week, you'll see Nobody Knows Who Did It Dan, and I took responsibility for some of the issues we're having with the merch, and I accept that. And now I've seen what Hermes are doing with people's packages. I'm fuming. In all seriousness, guys, these people are taking liberties, and I didn't know that they treat people's parcels like that. I'm new to the whole deliveries, and I've never really ordered anything that can be damaged online. And now I've seen how they're treating parcels. I want to tell everyone that we will not be using them again, and I am going to see what we can do in way of customer service, because they have charged us a lot of money as well. People say they are cheap. They are not cheap. What we've been paid for postage and packaging, we have lots of instances where we're paying double what. Obviously we're not passing the cost on because that's our cross to bear. But yeah, I really need to get in touch with them, and I need to have some strong words and see if we can't get some compensation. I know they're not going to apologize to me, but I am apologizing to you. I've said it for the last 2 weeks, and aggregatesupplier.com, the traffic is improving. So I'm blatantly plugging it again, because I'm not going to insult your intelligence and pretend that I'm not plugging it. So plug, aggregatesupplier.com. Thank you very much for all your loyal support. It's been brought to my attention that some of you were unlucky enough not to be able to buy a water bottle, and they sold out relatively fast. But it has now also been brought to my attention that some of you have put your water bottle online on eBay, selling it for 5 times the amount you bought it for, trying to take advantage of those who weren't lucky enough to get it the first time. Don't really like that stuff. Bear with me, guys. You won't have it for Christmas, but you will have a water bottle if you just have a little bit more patience. Don't take your money and buy those water bottles at 5 times the price. It's not fair, and it's not what I want. Bear with me. You'll get yours. I said in the merch container, we went for the lino option with the skirting, but in the office, completely different place. So we're going to use the same lino on the floor, but we've made ourselves some moisture resistant 18mm MDF. All we've done is take a sheet, measured up, and we've cut it here. So to make it quicker with the decorating, we're going to put all our undercoat and filling and sanding. We're going to do as much as we can down here. Then when we put it on and we put it all together, then all we have to do is sort out anywhere where we have any holes or joints. Makes the whole process a lot quicker. That is a fine and strong cutting edge, if ever I saw one. That should last an entire 31 days in this yard. Fantastic. Time to do a bit of work on the water bottle. I mean water tower. The problem that I have been having this entire year, we are finally going to address it. We're going to go for a simple way. We're going to run a 22mm pipe on the outside, and we're going to run that to the top. What we think the problem is there's a feeder pipe in here, and we think that feeder pipe has a hole in it. Instead of using stainless steel, the people who did it just used normal steel, and we believe it's got rusty. So basically, like a toilet system, when it's meant to cut off, the water keeps coming in through the filler pipe lower in the system. And we're going to put a new ball cock and system on it, which should cut off every time it's full. This is one of the reasons why the yard always looks flooded. When we left here on Saturday afternoon, this was filling, and then all of Sunday, water was coming out of here. Will's pulling faces. Are your knees hurting? Yeah, get up, Will. Get up. Stand up. Let's go and have a look at the weighbridge. How did it go on the back?
I think it's done.
Yeah? Okay. How much more buckets have you got to put there? 2, 3?
No.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah, but how many more have you got to do? 1, 2, 3?
5, 6 more.
Keep going and then meet me there in a minute. I will see you over there. Keep going, empty it. Simon, I'd like to see you spin from this system to that system. Show us. Please. Come, son. There, and the other way. Hey! I love it when a plan comes together. And Simon has been in here organising. We gave him as much storage as we possibly could, and he hasn't managed to fill it yet. But the day is not over. The accountant is happy and well dressed. Yeah. And he's had the haircut as well. He's trimmed it all off.
Christmas haircut.
He's had the Christmas haircut, boy. It's getting there. Just took a bit of the surface muck off. It's getting there. It's already looking a lot cleaner. It's Tuesday and I'm in the yard, and the worktop is about to go in the merch container, and at the same time we're about to start pouring some concrete blocks and jersey barriers. As we near the end of the work on the merch container, I've realised that we haven't got enough shelving storage there. So remember, a long time ago we set up the archive in this yard over here, what I don't talk a lot about. Well, we've got loads of it in there, so I'm going to steal about 7 of them and bring them over here. Yep, it's not heavy, but it needs 2 people. Hopefully by the end of today or tomorrow the merch container is complete. How'd it go? You went out in a concrete lorry today, yeah? How did it go in the concrete lorry today?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know? All right, cool. Yeah, I suppose we'll find out soon enough, won't we? So we're just loading up this concrete lorry and we're just getting the molds in place so we can start pouring. You say it's finished, yeah? Is it finished or do you say it's finished? You say it's finished, yeah? I'll have a look. I'll have a look and decide, yeah? I want to order a stencil for my lovely new bins. And once this is black, put it on the side of it and just spray it in white. I was thinking of some pretty little signs to go on here, but on this 40-yard bin, that'll just like be ludicrous. It'll look awful. 1.2 by 3 meters. So 1.2 by 3 meters. Check the other bin now. Yeah, 1.2. Wilson, hold that. I assume 3 meters. Yeah, bang on. Right, they're the same size. And on the 20-yard bin, it was 600 by 120. So I get myself 2 different stencils so we can start getting these all Ashville. One is completely repaired. The other one's still suitable to go out, but I want it to be 100% before it goes out. Yes, we carry on. The video selling my lorries at auction, will I get the money I think they're worth, has hit 1 million views. Thank you to everyone who watches our videos, everyone who subscribes. That's another Ashville video. That's 4 videos now that have hit 1 million views. Let's take a look at that here. For me, it's slightly tarnished today because Hermes or Hermes, whatever you want to call them, I've just been told that some of the first things that I packaged up are still sat in the local depot. Now, I did that over 2 weeks ago and they're still sat there, and I have a bunch of people thinking that they're in good faith and in trust in me, because that's what it was, that they went and bought this Ashville merch and they want it before Christmas. I'm not the best packer in the world. I did what I could and I've got it collected. These people have still got it sat in the depot, but that's not how it should be. Daniel likes to micromanage. Okay, cool, right. Everyone else is sorting it out. I've paid a company to do it. Now that company's rubbish. What are you doing? Do the job that I paid you to do. And obviously, it's not your problem. It's my problem, but it's left a really bad taste in my mouth. And for some of you, it's probably left a really bad taste in your mouth as well. I'm sorry. Wednesday and I'm in the yard. I'm standing in the training room. We put the desks in place, but we've got to move them a little bit because for the teacher who's going to sit here, it's quite tight. Had a chat with some of the guys in the office, and we've decided that because of what we've got planned starting in January and for the whole new year, Shane is actually going to be taught to use the weighbridge as well. Because as we know, Simon has a little one on the way, and we can't be expected that all the burden of the weighbridge is on Simon, and Terry's the only other one who knows it. So Shane is being given some more responsibility, which I believe he's more than capable of doing, and it gives us another option, helps us to be a little bit more dynamic. Over the past couple of months, there have been a number of people that I've been trying to recruit into the business. They were different job roles, and for some reason or other, nothing has materialized, nothing in operations, nothing commercially, and I'm sat here now knowing what we're trying to do for next year, and I've looked at our forecasts, cash flow forecasts, which are based on my estimations of what we're going to move. And we still don't have the people joining, you know. I'm starting to maybe question myself. We're not a blue chip company like some of the majors, and we are not a third generation here, so we don't have a long history. So I tend to pay a little bit more than some of my competition, but it's still not helping. So I need to have a serious word with myself and to think as to why that keeps happening, because it is detrimental. Everything at the moment is still hinging on what I'm doing. The material we're moving is like my connections and Terry's connections and people who are finding us online. Well, that's not good enough for an organization of this size. We've had a lot of people who would like to take on the role, but they've never done the role before, and they want me to spend time teaching them, but they want to get paid the same money as somebody who's been doing it for 10 years, but they want me to teach them. I don't have time to teach anybody to do that. I have my own workload, plus the workload of other people here when I muck in and I act as a sweeper and I clear everything up. So we are struggling for manpower at the moment. And guys, I always encourage people to try to move forward with things. I am not being rude. Yeah, I'm not being rude. I know everybody has to learn, but I simply can't be the one to teach everyone the entire time, because this is just more responsibility that falls on my shoulders. Had a chat with Cam about some paperwork for the lorry, 6 weekly inspections, some of our bores to update a lot of what we've done, organise some toolbox talks, which is when we have discussions with the drivers about things like vulnerable road users, and we refresh them in the way they're meant to conduct themselves on the road and in the yard. Had a chat with Simon. He is also preparing a load of A4 sheets of paper with the material that needs to be loaded on it, and he's going to laminate them, because next year we're going to have a lot of people coming in for third-party collections, and rather than winding the window down and screaming out the window at the shovel driver what you want, we're going to give him a piece of paper to slide in the front. The same piece of paper that said HS2 that we spent months blurring from the front of the lorries. Yeah, that piece of paper. Let's go and have a look at this merch container. Standing in my merch container, which is 95% done, with only a little bit of merch here, some soft toys, would just fit in the fresh air unit on here, the Ventaxa unit, so whoever's in here has fresh air will fit the aircon next year. Merch is another thing that's been added to my plate, something I wanted to do because I wanted to be able to share with everyone the joy of what we're doing here, and to give people the opportunity to have a little part, a small bit of Ashville. I'm reading email after email, no matter what we do, no matter how we firefight, due to the distribution, and I'm not going to name anyone, and the people who, whether it be the delivery, whether it be sending out, whatever it is, people not performing on any level. Doesn't matter what I do, doesn't matter who I get to do it, should source it out, get this to do it, get a company who does it, they're still rubbish. That's a fact of the matter, they're rubbish. And it's causing even more problems, like I need even more of a workload, because ultimately it lands in my lap, because Dan should fix it again. So we'll see what the future holds.
In this area, I showed you a steel, which we're going to sand that steel.
We're doing
down.
a watch through of basement salvage again. What we're doing here, we're trying to put it in order, but where we are going to have 3D animations, we are marking it on the screen where they're going to be, and then afterwards we're going to do a list of it and try to get those 3D animations made. I don't know the guy in this video. The guy in this video is looking kind of slim. Like, I don't even know this guy, but he's not too confident on camera. There's mad pauses in between some of the words he says and stuff like that. Hi everyone, Daniel Ashville here. The guys at work today had a secret Santa. I was not involved, and I saw that a number of people were happy. Will's definitely very happy with his t-shirt, aren't you, Will?
But the tree is already in place.
Yeah, Will has a t-shirt which we can't really show you, but he's wearing it with pride. I heard he was walking down Ivor High Road with the t-shirt, pointing it like doing that strut. Like he was walking through Harlem like a jive turkey. Anyway, Dan Friday has got me a Christmas card and he told me to open it. When a man tells you to open his Christmas card, yeah, you know you might hold some burials in that card or something like that. So let's open Friday's card. Let me just treat you how I used to treat my aunties when I was young. Right, there's no money in there, certainly. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Ah, it's just Dan all over. What a card, straight to the point. Safe, innit?
Safe, innit?
Merry Christmas to all, and safe, innit? It's Thursday and I'm in the yard. As is normal at this time of year, we have a lot of skips coming back to the yard because people don't want them in front of their houses anymore. So the majority of skips that come back are 8-yard skips. We don't have that many, we're not huge on skips. We have about 70 8-yard skips, we have 20 8-yard crane skips, and we have about 40 of these 12-yard skips. And what we have here is everything that's come back. I guess all the other ones are on building sites which are closed or on people's driveways and they don't mind having them, but they'll probably fill it full of their wrappers after they open all their Christmas gifts. Let's go and have a look in the backyard. At the back over here, we are going to close off the final part of the wall. A lot of people in the comments say they don't actually know what Ashville do, and everything we do seems like we're just improving in the yard. We did a lot of things out on the road this year, and now I've spent the last few weeks trying to get infrastructure in place for things which we have planned next year. And you are right, it is improvements we're doing ourselves, and no, there is no money in it. But when there's certain types of work you want to do, you need to put infrastructure in place, because ultimately, if you aren't prepared to do it, when it happens, you'll get egg on your face. We have had thousands of orders, and truth be told, we're not equipped to deal with it. But that is a double-edged sword, because what if you do all the preparation and the work doesn't come? Again, you'll get egg on your face. We prepare for the worst and we wish for the best. Let's get these blocks in place. The bottom row is completely in and the lads have put a few here, but now seeing it and having to think about it, we're going to use the other sizes and we're just going to dot them just above it. And then probably on the top row after that, we're going to use the big ones as well to hold them in place. There'll be no load whatsoever against this wall. Taking a closer look here, you can see blocks which have just been poured and blocks which have dried. You can see a significant difference in the color there. Terry is going to take a driver now and he's going to go up to J. Radford and collect one of the concrete lorries because that work is completed. We had all the mechanical work done at Southern Vulcanizing. We then took it up to J. Radford where it was sandblasted, sprayed. Action signs went up there and they did all the brand new artwork, and I haven't even seen what that artwork looks like. So that's going to be the first Ashville lorry in the new branding. Can't wait to see it. You know, you get something new, but it's not really new. But it is new, but it's not really new. The first Ashville concrete lorry has arrived with the new artwork. Absolutely loving it. It looks a lot better than when it left it, doesn't it? And this is absolutely fresh paint everywhere. Let's have a look at the front. Oh, I really like how it looks on these Volvo FMX chassis. And I think about this one and look at the other one and think to myself, what looks better? What do you prefer? The new style or the old style? I'm loving both. But it'll probably look this clean for about an hour. And then when it goes out to work, aha! Something missing. Where are my stainless steel mirror guards? My stainless steel mirror guards are gone, so I'm gonna have to contact Jay Radford and see where they are. Yesterday, you saw us messing around with the Ventaxia unit on the inside. Well, this is the external flue. I think we can call it a flue. This is where it draws the fresh air from outside and dumps it into the space. In the training room, we are fitting the floor and the electrical trunk in simultaneously. So we're nearly done with the floor at the back. You saw the other day we had the skirting on, but we only put it in place. Now we've taken that off and we're gonna put the floor down and then we're gonna put the skirting on top of the floor for a much better finish. It's Friday and I'm in the yard.
And it's starting to feel a lot like Christmas.
But I'm in the yard. Christmas Eve. I'm in the yard. We are in the back area just trying to get a couple of blocks in place. It is the most mixed, mashed, bodge job, ugly wall you have ever seen in your life. But that doesn't matter because there's no pressure going against it and it's not actually doing anything but offering us some shielding. And it also means that I don't have to store the remaining blocks anywhere because I've actually used them for something. And then we're going to begin to put the hoppers in place. Now, the thing is, I have to spread the hoppers out so we can measure for the conveyor belt, as I've told you in the past. And I called Terry, and Terry keeps telling me something. And I said, Terry, what distance should I leave between them? And Terry said, either 6.8 meters or 8.6 meters. I'm going to decide which of those two measurements I'm going to use, and then hopefully the guys will come and measure the conveyor belt. I think I'm being a little bit too optimistic to think they're going to come and measure up today, but I'm just glad to see this is done and we have completely dirtied my new slab. But at least it's working because I can't see any cracks in it as of yet. So let's get on with it. You know them awkward silences when Will thinks I'm going to say something, but I haven't. Keep filming, I will say something. You know what this is like? You know in Borat, when he's in the shop and he says, "What is this?" And the guy says, "Cheese." And he goes, "What is this?" He says, "Cheese." He says, "What is this?" And he says, "Cheese." And the joke becomes funny. And then it takes so long it becomes unfunny. And then it's so long that it becomes funny again. But then you think, oh, it's a bit far. And then it's unfunny again. And then he keeps going. And the joke gets funny again. Yeah, this isn't actually like that. Yeah, cut it. Stop. Yeah. There is really no right or wrong way of doing the blocks. We just want to make sure that they all overlap. We need to make sure they're clean on the top and bottom so they can interlock properly. Ideally, you like to use a bigger format as you can and have them overlap as much as possible, but in this case, it doesn't really matter because there's no weight going against the wall. It's just for some shielding. Now the wall is finally done. We are now going to put the two hoppers in place and then we can finally measure up for this conveyor belt. to sneak off quickly and get a trim. And my barber called it the Christmas trim. It's not really a Christmas trim, I just got a haircut and it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, don't let people try to con you into thinking things that you normally have and normally get because you get them now. It's your Christmas present. It's not. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. Don't let that happen to you. It's not your Christmas or your birthday present. You had that already. Anyway, the hoppers are in place in my newly concreted area. We are now ready. I did call and ask them to come and measure up for the conveyor belts, but seeing as it's Christmas Eve and it's 12:46, nobody replied. I'm gonna let it go. But conveyor belt will sit underneath here. Put a sock on this, a sock on this. Loading shovel has enough space to turn. Loading shovel will dump material. Conveyor belt with side skirts and chevrons on the belt. It'll come to here and then it'll go up and it'll go into this area here. We have a control panel here. What's gonna sit here? This entire area will be covered. The forklift will drive straight in. Hey! Take the bags and the bags will be stacked over here. The plan actually hasn't come together because it's not ready, but at least we have this in place and we can begin to start production on the bespoke conveyor belts. And that's it for Ashville Weekly, episode 64. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click here to see an Ashville video that you may not have seen before, and click here for last week's episode, which was number 63.